Okay, this is just a short little tutorial on how to do metric system conversions. I know that a lot of you probably have experience with this from high school work or other classes, chemistry or physics. But I did want to kind of run through it real quick for those that might need a little refresher, or maybe those that are a little more unfamiliar with the metric system. If you have a way of doing metric system conversions, you learned how many millimeters are in a meter and how many centimeters make up that and so on, and that works for you, then by all means continue to use that. This is just an alternative, so you can choose to use the method I'm going to describe in here, or you can use whatever method you're comfortable with that's working. Alright, this method involves a little mnemonic which I put up at the top of the page that's in the blue. And this is the prefixes for the metric system units. Remember, the metric system has 3 units, just like in our system. There's grams for weight, there's meters and for length, and then there's liters for volume. And then the prefixes in front of those, meter, liter, and gram, indicate what unit of that you're talking about. So, for example, starting on the left, K stands for kilo, and kilo is 1,000, so a kilogram is 1,000 grams. And then working over, the metric systems worked on a system of base 10. We have hecto, which is 100, and then DA, which is deca, which is 10. And then the space that you see there, that's the unit. That's gram, liter, or meter without a prefix. And then working all the way on over to the right would be the smaller units. So the mnemonic device that I always remember is kids have danced over dead, converting many blank blank metric blank blank numbers. All right, so that each one of those words in that sentence is one of the prefixes. So again, kids have danced over. I say over because there's no unit prefix for gram or liter or meter at that spot. Have danced over dead, converting many blank blank. Those don't have prefix names. They obviously exist mathematically, but in the metric system we don't use those units to talk about measurements. So we go blank blank, metric, that looks like a U, but it's a Greek letter mu, so it's an M. Metric blank blank numbers, N is nano. Okay, so kids have danced over dead, converting many blank blank metric blank blank numbers. Now that's the mnemonic device you can use to do these metric conversions. That's what I use. That's what I've always used. Alright, so let me show you how we're going to do this. Down below are the instructions, 1 through 7. And in each one of these conversions, this is the way I'm going to do the converting from one into the other. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the problem. So up here I've got 2,233.228 milliliters, and I'm wanting to know how many liters. Notice there's no unit in front of that. There's just liters. So I'm not talking about any of these up here except the one right here, the over, the one that doesn't have a prefix. Alright? So first thing I'm going to do, the units I'm converting from. So I'm going to grab my green arrow, and I'm going to say, alright, I'm converting from milliliters. Okay, and I need to find that on the scale. I need to find that on my mnemonic device. So I'm going to match it up here. That's milliliters right there. Because it's kilo, hecto, deca, deci, centi, milli, micron, all right, micron or micro, and nano. Okay. Then the units I'm converting to, I'm going to use the green arrows to indicate that. So I'm converting to liters, and I need to find that on the scale. Remember, that doesn't have a prefix, so that's right there. Number 5, the direction that I moved from the green to the red arrow, and how many did I move? How many units did I move? I moved to the left, 1, 2, 3. I need to remember that, 3 left. I go find the decimal point in my original number, it's right there. And I move that decimal point the same direction and the number of units that I found in step 5. 3 to the left. So I come up here and I get rid of my decimal point there, and I move it 3 to the left. 1, 2, 3. I put my decimal point, and that's my answer. Okay, so that original quantity, 2,233.228 milliliters, is now worth, or now been converted into, and move it to the left. 1, 2, 3. 2.223228 liters. Okay, so it's just as simple as that. All you've got to do is find the unit you're converting from, find that on the scale, figure out the unit you're converting to, find that on the scale, indicate the direction, the left or to the right, and how many units you moved, and move the decimal point that many. So let me run through a couple more. Now, in the next couple pages, I'll run through a series of them. If you get bored of this, you can jump ahead, or you can just kind of use it as reinforcement. So down here, I'm going deciliter. If it were deca, it would be DA. So it's a deciliter to microliter. All right, the units I'm converting from, I'm going from deciliter, and I'm going to microliter. All right, so I got the green arrow here, and the red arrow's over here. So I'm moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces, or 5 units to the right. So I come down here and I find my decimal point. Now I'm not going to continue to rewrite the answer up here. I'm just going to change this, and you'll know that that's now microliter. All right, so I'm moving 5 to the right. I find the decimal point here. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to move it 5 to the right. 1, 2, 3. I'm running out of numbers, so I add zeros as placekeepers. 4, 5. And then I can always get rid of the leading zeros to make it neat. And we've converted that now into 900 microliters. Okay? Simple as that. All you do is find the units you're converting from, the units you're going to, the direction, and the number of units, and do that to the decimal point. All right, I'll quickly run through a couple more. All right, kilometers to decimeters. Kilometers. We're going to decimeters, not deca, but decimeters. I'm going to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. Find the decimal point, get rid of it. 1, 2, 3. I ran out of numbers. I was supposed to go 4 to the right, so I had a 0. And get rid of the leading zeros so it makes sense. And now I have 3,240 decimeters. All right. Remember, I'm not changing that. I'm just for the sake of simplicity. All right, 34.56 grams. Grams, there's no unit prefix there. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about grams right there. Going to kilogram. Okay. So I'm going 1, 2, 3 to the left. Find the decimal point. Get rid of it. Go 1, 2. I need to add a 0 as a placekeeper. 3 to the left, and put the decimal point in front of it. So the answer is 0.03456 kilograms. Okay, next page. Another one. Now we got DAG. That's a decagram, not decigram, but decagram. So that is the DA. So we're going to start here. We're going to kilogram. Simply 2 to the left. So get rid of the decimal point, move it to the left. And I always put a leading 0 just to make sure that it's obvious that the decimal point is there. Where's the decimal point in this 12,365 millimeters? Well, if it's not written, it's implied obviously that it's right there. So we're going millimeters to centimeters, simply 1 to the left. So take that decimal point that's and put it right there, get rid of the comma to make sense. 1,236.5. Okay, a couple more. Here we got 33.080 micrograms to milligrams. There's where micro is. So we're going micrograms to milligrams. Remember, even though those spaces are there, you have to count them. They exist. There's no metric system prefix for them. They're not commonly used measurements or units of measurement. So we're going 1, 2, 3 to the left. So we find our decimal point right there. Guess I haven't been using the 0 each time, but I'm sure you could follow. So the decimal point, we're going 3 to the left. Get rid of the decimal point. 1, 2. Got to add a 0 to indicate a place. And I always put a leading 0, so 0.033080 milligrams. 400 microns, or 400 micrometers, is not commonly referred to as just microns. You don't say micrometers. Being converted into millimeters, same sort of idea. Right? This was micrograms to milligrams. Well, this is the linear measurement of microns to millimeters. We're moving 3 to the left. The decimal point is there. Move it 3 to the left. 1, 2, 3. Put a leading 0, and it's 0.4000 millimeters. All right, couple more. We're going hecta. All right, hecto being converted into centi. So notice I'm doing the same thing I put in my instructions each time. I'm getting my units I'm converting from. That's the hecto. I'm going to centi. I'm going here. I'm going from the green to the red arrows. 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right. Find the decimal point, get rid of it there. Go 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right. Put it. And get rid of the leading zeros to clean it up. And it's now centiliters. The last one there, kilometers to meters. We're going kilometers. Where's meters? There's no unit in front of it, so it must be this over part. Kids have danced over dead, converting many blank, blank, metric, blank, blank numbers. So we're going green to red. We're going 1, 2, 3 to the right again. Get rid of the decimal point. 1, 2, 3 to the right. And again, I get rid of the leading zeros. And as before, you know that that's now in meters. Okay. All right, a couple other quick things about the metric units or metric system. It's some unique properties of it. In the metric system, there's a direct correlation between a volume measurement, 1 milliliter, and a linear measurement, a cubic centimeter. 1 milliliter is equal to 1 cubic centimeter. So down below, something that has a volume of 367.8, I'm looking right here, 367.89 cubic centimeters has a liquid volume of 367.89, right? 1 to 1, very simple. Also in the metric system, 1 ml of water, pure water, weighs 1 gram. So, real simple, 28.5 mLs of water weighs 28.5 grams. Simple enough. Okay. But you can use that information to answer some questions. Let me show you what I'm talking about. All right. In this one, we got the same measurements or the same properties. 1 ml is 1 cubic centimeter. 1 ml of water weighs a gram. But I've also put up that mnemonic device for converting units, because we can use a combination of those two pieces of information there to answer the question down below. 367.89 deciliters, right there. All right, so deciliters. Deciliters of water weighs how many kilograms? Well, there's not a straight conversion over here, but you notice that deciliters, milliliters, if I can convert deciliters into milliliters, then maybe I can do something. So let's do that. So 367.89 deciliters is how many milliliters? There's deciliter. There's millimeter. Milliliter. So I'm going 2 to the right. So I take this and I go 1, 2, and I put the decimal point there if you want, but you know, you understand that it's obviously there. And then I put a comma, so it's 36,789 milliliters. All right, so 36,789 milliliters. Okay, we know of water, as we look up here on our little conversion or our little property. 1 ml of water weighs 1 gram. So 36,789 milliliters of water weighs 36,789 grams. So now we've made that jump between volume, milliliter, and weight. We've got gram now, right? Just using that simple property. So all we had to do was recognize that deciliters and milliliters are related, so convert one into the other, and then go up and use that 1 ml of water weighs 1 gram. As soon as we knew how many mLs we had, we knew how many grams we had. And what do you think we'll do next? Well, if you take a look at it, we're now going to convert grams into kilograms, because that's what we want. We want to convert grams into kilograms. So it's a simple 1, 2, 3 decimal points to the left. Okay? So we know the decimal point is there, and we're going to move it 3 to the left, and your answer is 36.789 kilograms. So see, that's how you use a combination of those kinds of properties and those conversion techniques to answer a question that looks at the beginning kind of complicated. All you had to do at the beginning was recognize that even the only difference that this problem had was the fact that the units were different. But since you know how to make those conversions between those units, you could quickly move between deciliters and milliliters and then turn that into grams and then turn that back into kilograms. I could have also asked you the same question and said, how many cubic centimeters was that going to be? Well, if it ends up being 36,789 milliliters, then it would have been, 36,789 cubic centimeters. Okay, so practice on those metric conversion problems that are in your textbook, and just make up your own and practice them as well. They seem simple enough to do, but students sometimes get confused about how to do them, and they're moving the decimal point the wrong way. They're easy points on exams, so there's no reason that you should lose points for that. So just kind of practice these a number of times. And like I said, if you have a better way of doing it that you've been using for years and it's been working, then fine, continue with that. But if not, then this is just another alternative you might consider.